Welcome back, everybody. For those of you joining us for the first time, this is Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center, and we're here in Little Elm, Texas.
We are.
This is episode 4 in our series about breaking free from toxic family systems.
Yeah.
Today, we are going to be diving into a topic that I think a lot of us feel really personally connected to, and that is rewriting your story and overcoming those limiting family narratives.
It's so important.
Yeah, it's huge. And for this deep dive, we're going to be looking closely at this great article.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's called Finding Your True Self, Overcoming the Family Narrative. So are you ready to jump into that?
Let's do it.
All right. So this article really dives into this idea that, especially if we're somebody who felt like an outsider growing up in our families, we might end up internalizing negative messages that we hear from our family.
Right. And it's like they almost become a survival mechanism.
Oh, interesting.
In a dysfunctional family system, maybe you weren't safe to really express yourself authentically. You kind of learn to adapt and internalize those narratives.
Oh, wow.
Not consciously, but as a way to kind of navigate the environment that you're in.
That's super interesting because it kind of takes the blame off of us. You know, like we're not choosing to believe these negative things.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's more like our subconscious is trying to protect us.
Yeah.
And kind of on that same line of thinking, you know, the article talks about being the black sheep of the family.
Right.
And I think that's something a lot of us can probably relate to.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I thought was so insightful is how the article reframes the black sheep.
Yeah.
You know, instead of it being a negative label, they actually talk about how being the black sheep can mean that you're the one who is actually questioning the unspoken rules.
That's right.
You're the one who's actually pushing for authenticity.
Yeah.
Even if it means rocking the boat a little bit.
Totally.
So it's almost like being the black sheep is a sign that you're on the right track. You know, you're not just blindly accepting everything you've been told.
Yeah, you're the one who's going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
You know, and you're challenging that.
Exactly.
Even if it means facing some resistance.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of courage.
It does.
It does, for sure. The article lists some of these common beliefs that a lot of black sheep often internalize.
Right.
Things like, I'm not lovable unless I earn it, or, you know, I'm always the problem. It's heartbreaking to think how many people carry these beliefs.
And they really stem from those unspoken family rules and dynamics.
Right.
That, you know, you're talking about. So, you know, for example, maybe there's an unspoken rule that emotions should be kept hidden.
Okay.
So you learn to suppress your feelings, and then you start to believe there's something wrong with you for having those feelings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we start to, I guess, unravel those beliefs?
Right.
You know, the article talks about reflecting on criticisms that we received growing up.
Yes. And, you know, just think back to those criticisms that you got growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you were always told you were too sensitive.
Right.
Or too dramatic.
Yeah.
Those criticisms can really reveal the core of the false narratives we've internalized.
Okay.
And so if you can identify those recurring messages, you can start to see how they shaped your current beliefs about yourself.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So it sounds like awareness is the first step.
Absolutely.
But the article also talks about self-compassion.
Yes.
That's really key to rewriting your story.
It is. And it's about more than just, you know, being nice to yourself.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that you're worthy of kindness.
Okay.
You know, regardless of any flaws or mistakes. It's like treating yourself with that same understanding and empathy that you would offer a close friend.
Yeah. So it's not denying the pain or pretending that it didn't happen.
Exactly.
But it's more like approaching yourself with a more gentle and loving perspective.
Exactly. You're acknowledging the hurt, but you're not letting it define you.
That's powerful. And the article gives some really practical tips.
Right.
For how to cultivate self-compassion, like asking yourself, how can I be kinder to myself today?
That's a good one.
What are some other things that you think people can do to start practicing self-compassion?
Well, one thing that I find really powerful is to imagine that a friend came to you feeling overwhelmed by negative self-talk.
Okay.
What would you say to them?
Yeah.
What words of comfort and encouragement would you offer? Now apply that same kindness and understanding to yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. And on the topic of support, I know the article also highlights the importance of surrounding yourself with people who affirm your worth.
Absolutely. Because oftentimes we become so accustomed to that invalidation from our family that we think it's normal.
Right.
And so being intentional about being in environments
Yeah.
where you feel seen and valued can be really healing.
Absolutely. So this leads us to another key idea from the article, which is reconnecting with your authentic self.
Yes.
But, for a lot of us who have maybe felt disconnected for a while,
Yeah.
how do we even begin to do that?
Right. And the article had some suggestions. Like one is identifying your core values.
Right.
What truly matters to you?
Hmm.
What are the principles that guide your decisions
Yeah.
when you're not trying to please others or conform to expectations?
It's like finding your inner compass again.
Yes, exactly.
And what about some other ways to tap into that authentic self?
Well, think about your childhood passions.
Okay.
What were the activities that brought you joy before all the self-doubt crept in?
Yeah.
Revisiting those passions can help you to reconnect with a sense of genuine fulfillment.
Hmm.
So maybe you love to paint or write or build things.
Right?
Give yourself permission to explore those interests again.
It's like giving yourself permission to play again.
Yeah.
I love that. The article also talks about recognizing energy givers
Yes.
and energy drainers.
Yeah, it's about becoming more mindful of how different people and situations impact you.
Yeah.
Who are the people who leave you feeling energized and inspired?
Right.
What are the activities that make you feel alive?
Yeah.
And then you can flip that. You know who and what drains your energy.
Yeah.
And once you start paying attention to those patterns,
Yeah.
you can make conscious choices to prioritize the people and activities that nourish you.
That makes a lot of sense, especially when you're on a healing journey.
Absolutely.
But I imagine, for a lot of people who have experienced betrayal or invalidation from their families,
Yeah.
building self-trust can be a real challenge.
It can be, and the article actually addresses that.
Oh, good.
It talks about honoring your intuition,
Okay.
even if it goes against what you've been conditioned to believe.
Right.
So if something feels wrong,
Yeah.
trust that feeling.
That's easier said than done, though.
Right.
It can be challenging.
Especially if you've been told your whole life, that your feelings are wrong. Right.
Or that you're too sensitive.
Yeah. That's where learning to set boundaries is crucial.
Yep.
It's about protecting your peace and well-being
Yeah.
by limiting those interactions
Yeah.
that reinforce those old wounds.
So it's not about cutting people off necessarily, but about having some healthy boundaries
Exactly.
in a way that feels safe.
Yeah. Boundaries are all about honoring your needs.
Yeah.
And creating space for healthy relationships.
I like that. The article also mentions making and keeping promises to yourself as a way to rebuild that confidence,
Yeah.
even if it's just little things.
Yeah, even small ones.
Yeah.
It's a great way to strengthen that internal sense of safety and security. It's about building that foundation
Okay.
of self-trust brick by brick.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
Now, I know the article shares some stories about some women who have really navigated this in their lives. One is Maria.
Yeah, Maria.
She was told growing up constantly that she was too emotional.
Yeah. And that's really common. For people who are really sensitive or empathic,
Mm-hmm.
they get labeled as too much or too sensitive in families that don't really value emotional expression.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the article talks about how anytime she tried to kind of speak up or talk about the dysfunction she was seeing, she was shut down.
Right.
And that led her to believe that she was the problem.
And it's like that invalidation
Yeah.
chips away at your self-worth.
Right.
And so you start to believe that there's something inherently wrong with you.
Right. But Maria's story has a beautiful turn in it.
It does.
She came to realize through therapy and self-exploration that her sensitivity was a gift.
It's amazing
Yeah.
how our greatest weaknesses can often become our greatest strengths
That's right.
when we learn to embrace them.
And she actually channeled that into a career as a counselor,
Yeah,
which is a beautiful example of turning pain into purpose.
it is. It's a reminder that our wounds can be sources of healing,
Mm.
both for ourselves and for others.
Yeah, for sure.
And, we see that time and time again at Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So have you ever felt like your sensitivity was a burden?
Mm-hmm.
How can you reframe that as a strength in your life?
Yeah.
I think that's a really great question for all of us to think about. And when we come back, we're going to delve into another story from the article about Jasmine and talk about the power of choosing your own support system. We're back, and we are continuing our deep dive into this idea of rewriting your story.
Yes.
We just heard about Maria, who was able to turn her sensitivity into a superpower.
She did.
And now we're going to hear about Jasmine,
Jasmine.
who the article says she always felt like she didn't quite fit in with her family.
Right.
What was her story?
Well, Jasmine really valued emotional openness and deep connection.
Okay.
And her family kind of made fun of her for being too deep or too different,
Oh, wow.
and it's like they saw her sensitivity as a weakness,
Yeah.
which again is common in
Yeah.
families that struggle with emotional expression.
So they were almost afraid of those
Yeah.
deep emotions.
Yeah, they kind of pushed them away.
And so did she try to change to fit in?
She did for a while.
Yeah.
But, it just wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting trying to be someone you're not.
Exactly.
And she eventually realized that she didn't need their approval
Okay.
to be herself.
That's a huge step.
It is a huge step.
Letting go of that validation.
And it takes a lot of courage.
It does.
But the article really emphasizes this.
Yeah,
That we have the power to choose our own support system.
I love that.
We don't have to be limited by the family we were born into.
And so she decided to create her own chosen family.
She did.
That's awesome.
She surrounded herself with friends and mentors
Okay.
who celebrated her for who she was.
That's beautiful.
It's a reminder that we can create those kinds of relationships,
Yeah.
even if we have to look outside of our immediate family.
That's so inspiring. So both Maria and Jasmine's stories really highlight this point,
Yes.
that we're not defined by our family's labels or expectations.
Yeah, right.
We really do have the power to rewrite our stories.
We do.
But I think for a lot of us, knowing where to even begin
Yeah.
can feel really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's feeling stuck?
I would say start with self-compassion.
Okay.
Remember what we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind to yourself.
Okay.
This is a journey,
Yeah.
not a race.
Right.
And it's okay to stumble along the way.
And remember that reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness.
It's not. It's a sign of strength.
It is, for sure.
And, here at Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center,
Mm-hmm.
we create a safe space where you can explore your experiences without judgment.
That's so good.
Therapy can be a powerful tool for understanding those family narratives
Yeah.
and developing those healthier coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing that you don't have to go through this alone.
Yeah, that's so important. I know the article talks a lot about rewriting your story.
Right.
And I think, it acknowledges it's a process.
It is.
It's not a quick fix.
It's not.
So can you talk a little bit more about that, like what that process might look like?
Well, it often starts with reframing your past
Okay.
with self-compassion.
Okay.
And it's not about erasing the pain or pretending it didn't happen,
Yeah.
but it's more about understanding how those experiences shaped you
Okay.
and choosing to move forward with a renewed sense of self-worth.
Like taking ownership of your story
Exactly.
instead of letting it control you.
It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose
Yeah.
how you interpret your past
Right.
and how you define yourself moving forward.
And that's where self-trust comes in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about learning to trust your own judgment
Right.
and intuition, even if you've been conditioned to doubt yourself.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that you have that inner wisdom
Yes, you do.
to make choices that align with your values.
Exactly.
Even if those choices are different from what your family might expect
That's right.
or want for you.
Yeah.
I love how the article says that honoring your intuition is an act of self-love.
It is.
It's like saying, I trust myself.
Yes.
I believe in myself. I'm going to follow my own inner compass.
It can be such a powerful statement,
Yeah.
especially for those who have been told their feelings are wrong
Right.
or invalid for so long.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming your right to feel
Yeah.
and to trust those feelings.
And it's about taking back your power.
It is.
And setting those boundaries is a big part of that too.
Boundaries are all about protecting your emotional well-being.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not,
Yeah.
and communicating those limits
Right.
clearly and respectfully.
So it's like creating a safe space for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish.
It's not.
It's about honoring your needs
Mm.
and creating space for healthy relationships.
Yeah. It's shifting from people-pleasing
Yes.
to self-respect.
Exactly.
I know that a lot of people who grew up in toxic family systems have a hard time with self-care
It's true.
because they were taught to put everyone else's needs first.
Absolutely. It's like there's this belief
Yeah.
that your worth is measured by how much you give to others.
Right. But self-care is not selfish.
It's not.
It's essential.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
You have to take care of yourself
You do.
in order to show up for others.
That's right. And speaking of giving and receiving support, I know the article also talks about surrounding yourself with a supportive community.
It does.
People who lift you up,
Yes.
celebrate your strengths.
It's about intentionally choosing to be in relationships that are nourishing
Mm.
and reciprocal,
Okay.
where you feel seen and valued for who you are.
Yeah, you deserve to have people in your life who celebrate your wins
You do.
and support you through the challenges.
Absolutely.
And you know, if your family's not able to provide that,
Right.
that's where chosen family comes in.
Exactly. Chosen family can be friends, mentors, colleagues,
Yeah.
even online communities.
Right.
Anyone who aligns with your values and supports your growth.
Yeah, it's like creating a tribe
Yes.
of people who really get you
Yeah.
and see the best in you.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who remind you of your worth.
I love that. So we're almost out of time for this segment.
Okay.
But before we move on, I just want to emphasize that, healing from toxic family dynamics
Yes.
is a journey.
It is.
There's no quick fix.
No.
And it can be messy at times.
It can.
So just remember to take things one step at a time,
Yeah.
be patient with yourself,
Yes.
and celebrate every small victory along the way.
And it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
Whether that's, seeking therapy, joining a support group,
Right.
confiding in a trusted friend.
Mm-hmm.
Reaching out for that support can make a world of difference.
Yeah, it really can. And remember, here at Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center,
Yes,
we are dedicated to supporting you
we are.
on your healing journey.
Yes.
We offer individual therapy, group
Yeah.
therapy, workshops.
Yeah, we have a lot of different resources
Yeah,
to help you move from surviving to thriving.
that's so good.
Mm.
We believe that everyone deserves to live a life free from the pain of toxic relationships.
We do.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed or alone,
Right?
please know that you're not alone.
You're not.
Reach out to us.
We're here to help.
We are. We're here to help you every step of the way.
Every step.
All right, so before we wrap up this whole deep dive, I want to kind of circle back to this idea of rewriting your story.
Yeah.
It's a concept that can feel empowering and kind of daunting all at the same time.
It can.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's empowering because it reminds us that we have agency.
Mm-hmm.
We're not stuck with those narratives.
Yeah.
We have the power to choose how we interpret our past
Okay.
and how we define ourselves.
Right.
But it can also feel daunting
Yeah.
because it's not always clear where to start.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
How do we actually go about rewriting our story?
Right. Well, the article gives us some suggestions.
Okay, good.
It says, identify your core values,
Mm,
revisit your childhood passions,
okay.
recognize those energy givers and energy drainers.
Yeah.
And these are all valuable exercises for self-discovery.
Okay.
They help us reconnect with our authentic selves
Yeah.
and start to build a life that is more aligned with who we are.
Yeah. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing to create a life that reflects your true self.
And that process of self-discovery can be exciting.
It can.
It's about exploring new possibilities.
Right.
Embracing your unique gifts and talents.
Yeah.
Creating a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling.
It's like saying yes to yourself
It is.
and yes to those dreams that you had maybe put aside
Yes.
or that you thought weren't possible.
It's never too late to start honoring those dreams.
That's so true.
And remember, it's never too late to start this journey.
Yeah.
No matter your age or background, you have the power to rewrite your story,
That's powerful.
to create that new chapter
Mhm.
filled with hope, healing, and authentic connection.
And we at Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center,
Yeah.
we want to be a part of that journey for you.
We do.
We're here to provide the support, the guidance, all those resources that you need to navigate this.
Absolutely.
We offer individual therapy, group therapy, workshops,
Yep.
a variety of services
A wide range of
to
services.
help you heal and create a life that you love.
Yes.
And our team of compassionate and experienced therapists
Right.
is dedicated to providing that safe and nurturing environment.
Absolutely.
Where you can explore those experiences, process your emotions, and develop healthy coping mechanisms.
And we believe that everyone deserves to experience healing and to live free from the pain
Yeah.
of toxic relationships.
So if you're ready to take that first step
Yes.
towards rewriting your story,
Please reach out.
don't hesitate to reach out to us.
We are here for you.
We are. Now, as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this final thought.
Uh-huh.
This journey of healing from toxic family dynamics
Yeah.
can be challenging, for sure, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
It
It's
is.
a journey of self-discovery,
Self-love
self-love.
and self-empowerment.
That's right. And remember, you're not alone.
You're not.
We're here with you every step of the way.
Every step.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We look forward to connecting with you again soon.
We do. And until then, remember, you are worthy of love, belonging, and a life that reflects your truest, most authentic self.
We've been talking so much about this empowering idea of rewriting your story
Yeah.
and healing from toxic family dynamics.
Right.
And it's a journey that
Yeah.
requires a lot of courage.
It does. It takes a lot of courage to question those narratives, to challenge those beliefs that have been with us,
Yeah,
for so long.
absolutely. And sometimes it means kind of stepping outside of our comfort zones,
It does.
even if it means disagreeing with family.
Right. It can be really hard to
Yeah.
go against the grain like that,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to family.
Right.
But the article highlights this amazing resilience
Mhm.
that we have,
Yeah,
that desire to grow and become our most authentic selves.
right.
And sometimes that means,
Yeah.
breaking free from those patterns.
Yeah, breaking free is a great way to put it.
Yeah,
And the article talks about how liberating it can be.
it is.
It's like shedding a skin that no longer fits.
It is. It's like you're finally breathing
Yeah.
for the first time.
It's about reclaiming your power
Absolutely.
and choosing to create a life that reflects your true self.
Your true essence. Yeah.
And that process of self-discovery
Yeah.
we talked about earlier
Yeah.
can be so exciting.
It can.
It's about opening yourself up to these new possibilities.
Yeah, embracing those gifts
Yeah.
that you have.
Embracing your gifts, creating a life that feels meaningful.
Yeah, fulfilling.
Saying yes to yourself,
Yeah, say yes.
to the dreams that maybe you put on the back burner.
It's never too late.
It's never too late, and that's the message we want to leave you with.
Yes.
No matter what your age or background,
Doesn't matter.
you have the power to create a new chapter
You do.
filled with hope and healing and authentic connection.
That's right.
And we, here at Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center,
Yeah.
we want to be a part of that journey for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We offer individual therapy,
Yep, group therapy,
workshops, all kinds of services.
all designed to help you heal and create a life that you love.
And our team of therapists is just,
They're amazing.
they're incredible, so dedicated to providing that safe space
Yeah, nurturing environment.
for you to explore your experiences.
Work through those emotions.
Yeah.
Develop healthy coping mechanisms.
So we believe everyone deserves to experience healing
Yes,
and to live free from that pain
absolutely.
of toxic relationships.
That's right.
So if you are ready to take that step
That first step.
towards rewriting your story,
Reach out.
reach out. We are here for you.
We are.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
We look forward to connecting with you again soon.
We do.
And until then, remember, you are worthy of love,
You are
belonging, and a life that reflects your truest self.
your most authentic self.
Take control of your mental health with our membership program. Enjoy priority scheduling, session rollovers, and in-office and virtual appointments when you need them. Fundamental Foundations Counseling Center offers affordable plans tailored to your needs because your wellness matters. Visit fundamentalfoundcounseling.com to join today.